Welcome to the Tom Matt Show. You are walking through the front door of the refirement zone. And now, your host, Tom Matt.
Last week, Dr. Anthony Avellino was back, optimizing performance, body, mind, spirit. Excellent. Tony really wants to get engaged with doing some detailed performance living where we can help people from a doctor's perspective, because there's so much, again, dis and misinformation in the world that it's like, guys, we got to go to the experts. Just like today. Reality of real estate, year in review, prognostication for 2024. This is the show you want to pay attention to because Brock is back. 18th visit. So happy to have him. Great friend. Good Spartan. Just an all-around great guy. And we'll tell you all his contact info and all that stuff here a little later. But I want to welcome back to the radio program. This guy knows the drill inside and out because we've done this 17 times before and talked on the phone. It's kind of crazy, isn't it, Brock?
It really has gone by quick. Man, I couldn't believe it when you said 18 times. So.
Well, think about that. It's like, okay, so we do at least 4, perhaps 5 per season, and 18. So you just do the real quick math. I mean,
yeah,
you've been,
5 years almost.
Yeah, you've been a very loyal friend and sponsor, and helped us so much. Again, everybody helped us so much when we were going through the pandemic anxiety of getting rid of Big House Holt and getting into Little House Lansing, and it was just it was challenging. But you know what? That's why we have our friends and our experts who we can trust. And again, as I've said before, when my dad's demise happened this past summer, one of the first guys I called was Brock because I didn't know what to do with this house. And he gave me really good advice. And guess what? His advice was spot on. I thought I could kind of circumvent the system. Nope. Not happening. He told me, he said, no, you got to do it the right way or you're going to come back to bite you. Well, he was right. All right, buddy. Do the this is your life. Tell us about everything. You said you had new things to share, which we can record, and you can talk about the fam and everybody. I mean, I didn't even do your bio because it's like you've been here so many times. It's like, well, do I even need to do the bio? Everybody knows Brock Fletcher. Brock. He's the man. Go ahead.
Yeah, man, it's been 2023 has been such a great year, personally. Just in the last couple months, Katie and I found our dream home, bought our dream home.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Love it. We love it. It's awesome.
Was that everything? Okay, let me ask you from my perspective to you, was it as anxiety filled as a real estate professional, broker like you? Was it still kind of like eggshells for you?
I didn't necessarily really want to move initially, so that part was eggshells. But once Katie and I had talked enough, where we agreed that if we found the perfect place, that we would do it. So. I wouldn't say we were looking that hard, but the perfect place came up because we'd had a lot of conversation about it. We were able to look at it that day, write up basically an unbeatable offer because I know the market very well.
Yep.
And the offer got accepted the next day. They canceled some other showings, to take our offer because they knew. Well, he knew me, number one, knew that I wasn't, that I was going to be very easy to work with. And I wrote, like I said, a perfect offer. And so they took it and we closed on the new place, moved. And then we're able to sell our old home after. And that was really nice because we've been so financially disciplined over the years. We didn't have to sell in order to buy. We just bought the new place, totally moved in. Got the old place, touch up paint, did a few things. And then the thing that was very gratifying on the sale end is that it was one of my past clients bought it.
Oh,
so
awesome.
I was able to bless him with a with a home that he was very excited about.
So let me ask you, Brock Fletcher's our guest today, everybody. We're going to do a 2023 recap and prognostication in the real estate market for 2024. When you say you wrote the perfect offer, are you okay to share how you thought about that? Was there escalation? Like when we did ours, we did the escalation clause and we did put money. We did all of the things that you encouraged us to do, and I had learned because I wanted this place, Little House Lansing, really badly, and I didn't want to get scooped. When you write the perfect offer, what was involved with that?
Yep. So I wrote for $5,000 over the listing price, but I put an escalation clause that would have taken it to another $60,000 over, because I felt that it was slightly underpriced. And I thought that other people would realize that too. And then I wrote an unlimited appraisal guarantee, meaning it didn't matter what the appraisal would come in at. I would make up the difference if it was low. Again, because I've been such a diligent saver and have lived below my means, I have a lot of savings, so I could do that. I also wrote, I wanted to do a home inspection, but I wrote in there that I would not ask for any repairs under $2,000. So they felt very comfortable that I wouldn't nickel and dime them on the home inspection. And then I wrote that I could close within 30 days, which is normal because I got a mortgage. And then I also wrote that they could have up to 30 days of occupancy for free if they wanted it, which they only used like 6 or 7 days in the end. But
so you were super duper flexible, and you were very astute because you played every angle that you could. Thank you for sharing that story. You didn't have to do that. Again, everybody, Brock and I, the way we work, we have zero scripted. So when I throw him a question like that, he could have waffled on me, but no, he wants to share good information. And so that's why you want to deal with the pros, because they know what they're doing, right? It's thank you again for sharing that story.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, absolutely.
So how is the family? We got a couple minutes to go before we go to break here. How's the fam doing?
Great. Jenna's a senior at Michigan State, and now she's applying for grad school. She's applying for like 8 different universities for grad school, just to make sure she gets into one, right? I mean, we hedge our bets. We're very conservative. So, you might not get your first choice, second choice, third choice, but I promise you, one of her top 8 choices will accept her to grad school, even though she's got great grades, but it's competitive. So, at the end of the process, she needs to be a speech pathologist. So she's very smart. She did all this on her own accord. I had nothing to do with it. Very little involvement, but she's just really bright. So yeah, so she'll graduate this spring, and then she'll be off to grad school someplace. So hopefully it's at Michigan State, but we don't know that yet.
And that's the whole thing about everything, everybody planning things out, hedging your bets, as Brock was just saying, with life in general. I mean, awesome, greatness. Because she's a good kid, and she's another one of these COVID kids, and I deal with these students all the time. I talk to them every day. Matter of fact, a student at the gym today was telling me, do you ever stop talking? And I'm like, no, not really. I mean, I'm a talk show host, and I love talking to young people and getting their feedback on things and seeing how they're doing and how do we help them. And this is something that's really important for our lives. So it's important. Take 30 seconds to talk about Katie, and then we'll go to break.
Katie's doing well. She's a nurse at Sparrow OBGYN. She's in the professional building over there. There's a lot of changes going on. U of M Health Systems bought Sparrow, so everything is kind of up in the air there. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, they're making some changes, but at the end of the day, Katie's a super hard worker. So she's been at Sparrow for 22 years.
Excellent.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, well, she'll be fine, and everything's going to work out. You guys are doing just magical things. 2023 recap, everybody. Prognostication for 2024, reality of real estate with my man, Brock Fletcher. This is the Tom Matt Show.
This segment of the Tom Matz Show is brought to you in part by the Source of Light and Power at sourceoflightandpower.bandcamp.com. This is the Tom Matz Show.
Second segment of the Tom Matz Show is sponsored by Craig. Brock's our guest today, but Craig is our sponsor for segment 2, Ameriprise Financial, your Ameriprise Financial Advisor, Craig Stiles, and our Ameriprise Financial Advisor. With the right financial advisor, life can be brilliant. Please call Craig, 1-800-528-1355. 517-483-4893 is the local number. Craig.stiles@ampf.com is his email. Simple thing to do for all of these guys is go to our website, tommattshow.com. Click down to the bottom, roll down to the bottom of the page, and their banners are right there at the bottom of the page. You can find all the topics and categories, but right at the bottom there, boom, you're there. Easy peasy, away you go. Craig's offices are located locally, 2400 Lake Lansing Road, Suite B is in B as in are brilliant, Lansing, Michigan 48912. And the thing about our two sponsors is our two current sponsors, and we have a new one coming on, is that they are nationwide. So if you need some assistance with advice and you're relocating or you're doing some, you live in a different part of the country and you're picking up the podcast, then you can still always reach out to our brothers from another mothers and talk to them about getting a referral to someone that's within the organization, because these big organizations, they rock. I mean, they know what they're doing. They handle their business. Boom, boom, boom. It's done. Stations carrying us now, have carried us in the past. I'd like to give everybody credit and thank everyone for doing this. First, of course, WJHN 92.1 FM in Grand Haven, Michigan, on the lakeshore of Lake Michigan. Beautiful Grand Haven. WJM 1240 AM Lansing, blowing us out on multiple times on weekends. It's just fantastic being there. They're the flagship of the Michigan Talk Network. WJRW 1340 in Grand Rapids carried us for a long time. WKLQ 1490 Muskegon Whitehall, part of the Michigan Talk Network. WYPV FM 94.5, another Michigan Talk Network station. And then, of course, our PBS affiliate at the big powerhouse at Michigan State University. Go Green.
Go White.
WKAR. Yeah, go White, baby. You got that right. WKAR, AM 870. News Talk, carrying us on Sundays at 5 p.m. Great slot. I want to thank Craig Stiles for creating Necessary Analytics. That's his proprietary algorithm where we are making light of weighted decisions. And I don't worry about diddly crap, because when I go to my friends, or I refer people to my friends, like we just did with Brock, another one called me and said, I need to get a hold of both of these guys because they heard it on the radio program. That's the way it works. We've been doing this a long time. This is our 13th season, so we're rocking. All right. And again, thank you to Steve and Ivy Gruber, owners of the Michigan Talk Network, for carrying us all these years. And we have several books on that thing called Amazon. Please go check those out. All right. Back to Brock 2023 recap, reality of real estate. All right, bro. I'm going to let you just give everybody the deep dive on this thing. You got about 6 minutes of time to just kind of tell everybody from Brock's perspective what happened this year and what do you see. Well, just talk about what happened this year, and we'll continue on with that because that's a big thread.
Sure.
And then we'll pick up the back end of it down the road later in the show. Go right ahead, Brock, please.
Yeah. So I would say that the storyline of this year has been the rising interest rates, which has caused certainly a reduction in terms of the number of homes that have sold over the year. So across the U.S., we're talking more than a 20% decline in terms of the number of transactions, across the U.S. We're going to finish the year at about 4.3 million sales across the United States, which is in line with like the number of transactions from 2010, basically. And most of that is because of rising interest rates. And almost unequivocally, Tom, if you bought a home or sold a home in 2023, you had a life-changing experience that caused that to happen. So a new baby, you got married, You graduated college and bought your first home. You had a job transfer, a job change. Maybe it was something that was negative. Maybe it was a divorce. Maybe it was a death in a family, right? Even my circumstance was kind of a life change. We're empty nesters, right? It wasn't like it was a good thing, but we wanted to move to a home that would be a home that we could live in for many years, right? So, the overarching things to think about is less transactions, higher interest rates, values continuing to go up at about 4% per year, roughly, and inflation, right? The battle with inflation, which is the reason that interest rates have gone up. Inflation was higher. The people that control the monetary policy in the United States said, we've got to raise interest rates in order to push down inflation. And the numbers just came out. It's working. So when we give that update for 2024, there's going to be some good news for people there.
That's excellent to hear. Okay, so let's recap that. So we had a 20% decline. The thing that caught my ear when you were just giving us all those stats, Brock Fletcher's our guest today, everybody. We're doing a reality of real estate episode, 2023 recap and 2024 prognostication. But the thing that caught my ear, well, it all did actually, but the one thing was the continual increase in values of homes at 4%. What do you attribute that to? Is it just a supply and demand thing? Because there's just,
Yep.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. We still have incredibly low inventory. And so values continue to get pushed up. So, but at the luxury price point, we'll probably see a little bit of constriction, right? In terms of value, may come down a little bit. But when you're talking about, between 100 and 300,000, still tremendous shortage. And because of it, prices are going up.
That's that,
right?
and that's the thing, man. Supply and demand. It's just it is what it is. And are they going to build more of this? I got to tell you, I because I do all of my performance coaching with so many people, and I'm working with a woman now who is a renter. She's younger, and because I haven't been in the rental market for like ever, a long time, I was appalled at the cost of rent. It's like, Brock, I got a minute to go before and I'm gonna just make a note of that to come back with rental and talk about that as we come back, because I want to give you plenty of time to chat about that. And I'm just going to wrap this segment up. Is that a good jumping in space for us in the next segment? Okay, because here's what it was shocking to me, everybody, when I started, because I'm again coaching this young woman and she's going to be relocating to mid-Michigan, and she was just pretty happy with the cost of rent of just places as she started to just peruse around. And I was like, that's a good price. That's a good price. She goes, oh, that's a great price. You know what I'm paying now? And we'll talk about those numbers when we come back, everybody, because I got that rental cost. I got that starred right here with Brock. 2023 recap, prognostication for 2024, the real estate market, the reality of real estate. That's why you listen to this radio program with Brock, because you get reality of real estate with Brock Fletcher. He's our guy. He's our subject matter expert. And I'm Tom Matt, and I just host the show and drive this bad boy. You're listening to the Tom Matt Show. We'll be right back.
Thank you again to our Segment 2 sponsor, Craig Stiles of Ameriprise Financial. For more information on services provided by Craig, please visit ameripriseadvisors.com/Craig.Stiles or by calling 517-483-4893. You're tuned in to The Tom Matt Show.
Third segment of the Tom Matt Show. New sponsor, so happy to say this to everybody, so happy to bring White Law, PLLC, they're in the house where justice meets compassion. Jamie White's awesome. The guy's greatness, and he'll be on at least 4 times a year, as how we do with and believe me, with our segment sponsors, we are very, very careful with bringing these people on, because we're all about integrity. We're all about trust. We're all about delivering the great messages. And that's why, this is a big deal. It's not like buying a $10 $10 ad and it plays on the radio station and it's gone. No, these segment sponsors are very, very important to the show and to the sponsors. White Law is your advocate in times of need. They're there to listen, support, and fight for what you deserve. Just like Brock. I'm going to have to start going with Jamie here. Contact White Law today for your free consultation. Visit whitelawpllc.com. You can call 517-777-9785. And since this is new, I'm going to repeat that. And the banner will be on the website, so you can do the same thing as you do with Brock and with Craig. We want to make this easy peasy for you guys to find our sponsors. That's the whole point. You want to go to these people who you can trust. And these, I'm telling you, again, I'm not just tooting our own horn here. We've been doing this. This is our 13th season. We're very careful with this kind of stuff. This is very, very important to have the right people in the right spots, just like a good team always does. Contact White Law again, segment 3 sponsor. Visit whitelawpllc.com or call 517-777-9785. All right, bud. Back to Brock, our segment 4 sponsor. Great friend, excellent guy. You know, he's our guy, as we've said, and I'll say again in the next segment when we do his live talk. I don't even call them reads. They're just talks about why we love these people. But, you know, you helped us with Big House Holt, Little House Lansing, and all of that. And getting back to where I left off the previous segment there, bro, it's like, I can't believe how much rents are. I mean, it is because I'm coaching some people on my coaching, my performance coaching business side of our business. I need to know the details of people's lives. And so when I find these things out, it's like, and again, I'm out of those kind of circles. Brock, let's talk about the rental business out there, because this young woman told me that getting an apartment, a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment in mid-Michigan for $1,000 a month was a steal. And I'm like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what it is in some cases. I don't know that I would say it's a steal, but that's not overpriced. You know, especially if you're talking about anything around campus or anything to do with Michigan State. I mean, my daughter has an apartment. It's a really nice apartment. But yeah, her and her roommate are each paying about $950 a month for what is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. And I mean, it's really nice, but yeah, rents are way up across the board. And you know, obviously when you're in college, you're probably not buying a home, but certainly once you're graduated, once you have that good job and you can afford to buy a home, it's you know, it's more affordable to own a home than it is to rent, for sure. And you want to start building towards financial independence.
Well, that's the whole thing. And it's like getting the money as a down so that you can qualify for these things. And again, to just kind of finish this thread, everybody, the reason that this young woman said she's getting a deal is because she lives down in Macomb County, and her rent there is like $1,300 a month. And so it's like for her to get $1,000 was like boom shakalaka. She's really happy with all that. You know, it's just crazy. So again, we got to get people to buy homes and find people like Brock. Okay, Brock, let's continue talking about 2023, or if you're pretty well done with that, we can move on to 2024. But what are some of the other things besides interest rates? I mean, that was the biggest thing. And I'm glad to hear that you're really feeling like it's going to loosen up for 2024. But in 2023, how many people met their goals? And I have been hearing that people are kind of stuck because if they're in a low interest rate situation now with these higher rates, they're kind of like in a bind, especially younger families. Is that true?
Well, I mean, yeah, if you have an interest rate, you know, at an extreme low place, like 2 to 3%, you know, that might really affect your decision of whether you move to a new place or not. You know, the reality is if you have a 3-bedroom home and you have 4 or 5 kids, you're going to end up moving. that 3-bedroom home is not going to be big enough. And so you're going to end up probably buying something new. You're going to end up with a higher interest rate. What I always recommend to clients is if your position in life dictates that you need to make a move, do it. Make the move and simply refinance to a lower interest rate when they come down. So, I can transition a little bit into 2024 because I think this is what's going to happen. So the Fed has said, based on the new numbers, that what they have done has worked. And so they're predicting that inflation is going to be at or below 3% as we head into 2024. And subsequently, they'll start to relieve the pressure on interest rates. Would not surprise me at all if we're somewhere between 5 and 6% on a 30-year fixed interest rate by the time we get to midsummer. Now, for those of you who are not blown away by that, that's a good interest rate. We're probably never going to get back down to 2 or 3%. You have to remember that was artificially created to help us get through the pandemic, right? That's the only reason we ever saw interest rates at that low. It was to get us through the pandemic. So not going to happen again. An interest rate at 5 or 6% is a good interest rate, right? So getting back to that's a big win. And the reason that you don't want to wait to buy is because of the inventory, values continue to go up. So if you're sitting on the sidelines, not buying a new home because you're waiting for rates to go down, that home value is going to go up 4 or 5% per year, probably. In the meantime, so you're just waiting to pay more for the same home. You're better off just to buy it now and refinance when the rates come down. If you work through the math, that's the best way to do it.
That is such good advice. And I appreciate you sharing that with us. It's like, because if you do the math, and we'll talk more about this because I'm going to come up on break here. Let me reset this thing. Brock Fletcher's with us. Reality of Real Estate is today's episode, which we do at least 4 times a year because it's so important for everybody to get good information. So grateful to Brock, not only for being a sponsor of the show, but being our subject matter expert. That's the other real important thing, is having somebody that's really trustworthy. And you can take it from us. I'm going to say it when I do my talk for Brock here in just a second, that, Big House Holt, Little House Lansing, boom, boom, boom. And when people call me, they've heard the radio program, they want to get a referral to Brock. Brock always takes care of them. And the story that I could share and have shared before about our next door neighbor's house, that Mike, he just wanted some good advice. He didn't know what was going on. I don't know the business. I turned him on to Brock. Brock helped him out. It was no pressure whatsoever. Mike was thrilled. Next thing I know, Brock signs in his front yard, and about a week later, his house was sold. So that is a fact. That is a certifiable 100% fact. And that's how we roll here. So we just try to help people navigate all of these things. And that's the name of the game. You got to find and get good information. If you don't do your due diligence in life, everybody, shame on you. Brock Fletcher, 2023 recap, Prognostication 2024, Reality of Real Estate. This is the Tom Matt Show.
For more information on the Tom Matt RFZ mentality, please visit our brand new website at www.tommattshow.com. Subscribe to our podcast via your favorite podcast platform. Visit our brand new YouTube channel for consistently motivating messaging. This is the Tom Matt Show.
Sponsor of the 4th segment of the Tom Matt Show is, I'm proud to say, is my guest today, Brock Fletcher. Brock Fletcher at the selling team of Keller Williams Realty. Again, as I just said, full disclosure, we have utilized Brock's services multiple times. We love Mike Dedman. We really, Brock's like a brother from another mother, as you know. We've had speaking engagements with Brock. We've gone to events with Brock. He does all kinds of cool things. It's the bomb working with people that you can trust. Brock has a couple of numbers here. I'm going to give you the first one, the office number, everybody. Here you go, 517-853-6408. 517-853-6408. Or this is the super secret, not so super secret number. Text him. This is it. This will get you into the man's pocket. 517-303-3262. Did I say 517-303-3262? Yes, I did. And that's what you want to do. And I've said this before on other shows. Brock's probably heard me say this. But I appreciate being a former telecom professional for like a long, long time. I appreciate that he changes his voicemail every day to let you know when you leave him a voicemail when he will be returning calls every day. Very few people do it that way. That's a pro. When you have stuff like that, that is a pro. You can go to his website, kwsellingteam.com. Reach out to that number, call him, do the whole thing. Sell your home without hassles like we did. He'll set the price. He'll do the market analysis. The thing about Brock and the whole crew over there is they really know what they're doing. And with the events that they do, with all of the information that they can share, they're nationwide. It's awesome. Most agents start marketing when you list with them, which is really dumb because this is a really very competitive market out there. You want the best. As I said earlier about players on a team, we need good players on our team. And Brock is he's one of our all-star players on our team. You got to build a team. If you're going to be successful, if we want to make this radio program successful, you got to have those people there for you. Brock, he spends thousands on marketing. Part of it goes to us, which we're very grateful for because he gets results for you. Keep that in mind. Again, kwsellingteam.com, 517-303-3262. That's the man. He's got the plan, and it works, okay? Just do it that way. Again, TomMattShow.com, bottom of the homepage. Go check him out. You click right there. It's simple, easy. We try to make this very, very non-challenging for people because we know everybody's busy. All right, with everybody being busy there, Brock, and your prognostication as we started, and we're going to finish the show, everybody, with the 2024 prognostication. That was really good news. In case people just joined us, and they're just jumping in their car or listen to us or whatever, please just reiterate what you just said about the interest rates and where you see things going, and we'll just continue that thread. Please go right ahead.
Yeah. So the measures that the Fed has taken, they control our monetary policy. The raising of interest rates that they've done has caused inflation to be pushed down. And when the numbers come out near the end of the year, we're going to see that inflation is down near about 3%, that it worked. And then you're going to start seeing them lower the interest rates. And eventually that will have an effect on mortgages. And I think by the time we get to June or so, we're going to see interest rates at somewhere in the 5 or 6% range. Now, I can't really say for sure how many transactions we're going to see on a nationwide level. And here's why. This is a major concern that you're hearing about. Consumer debt is at an all-time high in the United States, predominantly credit card. And that's troubling. That's very troubling. Now, it's not going to have a tremendous effect on foreclosures. As a matter of fact, we're going to have virtually no foreclosures, and here's why. About 35% of all Americans own their home free and clear now. That's
really?
The first thing.
35%?
Yep. And over 60% of Americans have more than $50,000 of equity in their home. So, real estate values have gone up about 39% since the start of COVID, and people have equity. Right? People have equity in their home. So for those of you that are thinking we're going to see a big foreclosure thing, it's just not going to happen. The only way somebody can get foreclosed on in the world we live in right now is if pride and ego got in the way. Because if you have a lot of equity in your home and you're not making your payments, you're probably going to sell before you get foreclosed on.
Oh, I see.
You're not going to ride that horse, into the ground. you're eventually going to sell, and you're going to pay off that mortgage, and you might go to an apartment or something, but you're not going to get foreclosed on, right? You got too much equity. Values aren't going down. The whole thing that happened way back when is values went down. People lost their jobs. They couldn't make their payments. They couldn't sell their home for what they owed on them. They got foreclosed on. So we're just not in that kind of an economic environment. But I do know we're going to see alleviation from interest rate perspective. And we should continue to see home values go up because we've got low inventory. But people, please get your personal affairs in order and start living within your means. Quit using credit cards.
Okay, so that's a strategy number one for 2024. We're going to lay out a couple of things for you. We got to kind of get that consumer debt under control because, and you don't want to leverage your equity to pay off consumer debt because that's exactly what banks would love for you to do, and you don't want to do that because, as Brock was just saying, you're going to want that for the next purchase as you move up because most of the people that we're dealing with now are much younger than Sandy and I, and Brock's quite a bit younger than we are as well. So you have people that are moving up. You do still have people that are moving down as far as maybe downsizing, but I think that number is diminishing because as the baby boomer population starts to age out, I hate to say it, but the truth is. I know these stats. I study these stats, and I know that the first baby boomer is turning 75 here this next year. So it's like that's a big wave coming, and as long as we stay healthy and alive, we'll be good. But again, we got younger people that need to move up. You need to take Brock's advice. All right, so I love that one, and I'm shocked at the 39% increase in equity since the pandemic. That is mind-boggling. Thank you for sharing that positive feel about the non-foreclosures there, Bud. It's like excellent. Take another minute before we go to break and kind of expand on that just a tad, and then we'll come back and we'll talk more about this.
Yeah, I mean the pandemic really was a catalyst for values to go up, and it was what contributed to that as well was just a low inventory. But what it's done for people is it's put them in a position where most people are in a tremendous position regarding equity in their properties. And that's been a real saving grace. I do want to go back to that consumer debt topic, which is if you're not a Dave Ramsey follower, if you're not familiar with his teachings, you should be. The problem I think a little bit in America is we just don't know how to hear the word no or how to hear, save for a rainy day. People are too quick to go buy what they want on a whim. You have to live within your means. I mean, at the end of the day, you're the only person responsible for your own financial well-being. You cannot depend on any company or any government to do that for you. And we've gotten a little bit weak there. You got to live within your means, right? And you got to get rid of debt, get rid of credit card debt, quit buying $90,000 cars. You don't need it, right? You can buy a used car, $30,000, $40,000 car. You don't need a $100,000 car, right? Live within your means. That is the key to financial freedom.
That is such great advice. And I'm going to carry this through break, everybody. We're going to continue coaching people up. We like building these team ideas. Brock's a team guy. He's a sports fan, just like me. We get along real well with all of these kinds of things. That's great strategy. And if you have good strategy for your home, for your life, again, I'm the fitness guy. I'm the nutrition guy. I'm the talk show host guy. I'm not the real estate guy. You're hearing the money numbers. A couple of weeks ago, Craig Stiles was here, and he was saying similar things, not to the point of Brock, but we'll get some more Dave Ramsey-isms from Brock because I know he's a big fan. And you know what? His stuff works. That's why he's on 700 radio stations across this country. And I listen to him occasionally. I've read his books, and the guy knows what he's talking about, and so does Brock. Reality of Real Estate with our subject matter expert, Mr. Brock Fletcher. He's the man. He's our guy, and he helped us so much. I can't tell you how appreciative we are of all of this. He will help you. You're listening to the Tom Matt Show. We'll be right back.
Thank you again to our segment 4 sponsor, Brock Fletcher, real estate agent at the selling team with Keller Williams Realty. For more information on services provided by Brock, please call his personal cell phone at 517-303-3262 or by emailing Brock at kwsellingteam.com. This is the Tom Matt Show.
Welcome back to the Tom Matt Show, everybody. Remember that you can always go to our website, tommattshow.com, to find our sponsors, to find our people, to find the podcast, to find all of our social media. And we communicate very extensively on all the platforms. So whatever flavor is yours, you feel free to use those. Please check out our YouTube channel. Everything's there on the website. Brock Fletcher's our guest today. A prognostication for 2024 reality real estate. We did the recap of 2023. Before we go any farther, though, I'd like to get all your contact information from Brock. Please share anything that I've missed or just reiterate with everybody what and how they can find you.
Well, you've got it all right. So you're doing great, Tom. But yeah, I just, if you have any questions, specific or not non-specific, the easiest way to get a hold of me is always on my cell phone. It's 517-303-3262. Again, 517-303-3262. Text me, call me. There's no such thing as a dumb question. I can help you with anything you need questions on, whether you're right here in the greater Lansing area or whether you're in another state. If you're uncomfortable to call, want to try an email, you can email me. It's brock@kwsellingteam.com. Really simple. If you just Google Brock Fletcher, you can get me that way too. You can read any of my 420 plus 5-star reviews. I love Google. Every time I'm looking for anything, I go to Google, and I love reviews. So just Google Brock Fletcher. You can contact me that way. Matter of fact, you can call me right through it. In fact, you hit the button, it'll call me directly. So
he's very, very approachable, very easy to get a hold of, and he's just a cool guy. He gave me free advice years and years ago when we first met, and we didn't even know each other, and he gave me some very, very astute advice. Sandy wasn't real thrilled about it when I told her, but you know what? He was right, and that's all that matters, because when the experts tell you and give you good advice. I have several mentors and friends that I just value there and trust so much that when they give me information, it's like, man, I'm taking a hard look at all that they said. All right, so let's finish that little thread about the Dave Ramsey and the consumer debt thing, because that's important for people to understand that they don't want to try and kind of steal from themselves to pay off debt through their equity in their homes. You want to make sure that you don't do that. Figure out how you can restructure this thing and just kind of tighten it up. Just there's so many ways you can please, Dave Ramsey way better than I do. Let's talk about that, please.
Yeah. So you want to, Financial Peace is the book to start with. If you want to read something, Dave Ramsey, that's going to outline how to get yourself out of trouble. But, let's say you're in debt. You want to start with the lowest balance credit card you have and get that paid off. Make the minimum payments on the others, but get rid of the lowest balance. Once you get that first one paid off, you're going to take all the money from that first one and start paying it down on the second one. It's called a debt snowball. And you want to do that till you get yourself out of trouble. The other thing you need to do is you need to immediately build an emergency fund of at least $1,000, right? If you don't have $1,000 set aside for an emergency, you got to do that. And I want to dispel some things that I hear from people that I just flat out don't agree with. I know Dave does not agree with it. You do not need to buy cars that you need to get a car loan for. I do not allow myself to get a car loan. When I buy a car, I have to pay cash for it. Now, that means I'm not buying a $90,000 or $100,000 car. That means I'm saving for 4 or 5 or 6 years and paying cash for a used pickup or something like that, right? And that's perfectly fine. You're able to buy a vehicle 30, 40,000 miles that you can drive for 6, 7 years. And then while you're doing that, you're saving for your next vehicle when you wear that one out. And the same thing goes with anything else you're going to buy. You got to buy it with cash. If you don't have the money to buy it, you don't need it, right? But this whole notion of it's okay to buy things on credit is not right. The only thing that I will say it's okay is if you're getting a home loan on a purchase, when you purchase a home, but your purpose should be to pay that home off as quickly as possible and live in it for as long as you possibly can. Now, many of you may not know, Warren Buffett still lives in the same home that he bought in the 1970s. The secret to becoming wealthy in the United States is not moving, right? Now, that's funny. I'm a real estate agent saying that. But really, every time you visit your money, meaning every time you create a transaction, the government taxes you in some capacity, right? Now, you might think, well, Brock, when you sell your primary residence, it's tax exempt. That's true. But when you buy a new home, they readjust your property taxes. And so there's a tax savings by staying in the same home for many, many years because the government can only raise your property taxes so much per year. So there's a lot of financial hacks, but the first fundamental belief you've got to have is I don't need to borrow money to buy things, right? And I refuse to accept that student loans are necessary, right? You can work your way through community college till you earn the right to go to a larger university if your family was not blessed enough for there to be a college fund of some kind for you, right? And you better get a specialized degree because if you're getting a general degree that won't pay you at least $90,000 or $100,000 a year, I question whether college is right for you. Why, trade school, plumber, electrician, whatever. But that was one of the things with my daughter. She's getting a specialized degree, guaranteed her first job will be six figures, right? And at the end of the day, she's got to finish her degree so that she can realize that. If she had said, Dad, I want to get a general business degree, I would have said, no, not doing it, right? A general business degree does not guarantee you a job in excess of $30,000 a year. So we've got to start being smarter with how we spend and how we look at debt and how we allow our children to move into adulthood. And we're doing it wrong right now. We're doing it wrong in a major way.
That's such a great synopsis of all of it, of the Ramsey model. I appreciate that very much. Brock, we got about 3 minutes to go before we end the show. And we want to talk about you have an upcoming meeting coming with the family, the big family, the KW family. Talk about what's going to possibly and what you'll be bringing back in your next visit with us, because it'll be after you go to that meeting. I'm looking forward to hearing what you got to say. Please give everybody out there a snapshot of what you think is going to happen at the big KW selling team or KW family visit or whatever it's called. What is it called?
Yeah, family reunion in February. Reunion. So more than likely, our next recording will be probably end of February, beginning of March, something like that.
Yep.
And I'll be fresh off my meeting with Gary Keller at the Keller Williams family reunion. The top agents in the company will be there, and he's going to give the state of the market address, where we'll be going over interest rates, inflation, all these key indicators for what 2024 is going to look like. And we'll be doing an autopsy, of course, on 2023. The other thing I'm super stoked about, and I mean, I'll tell you what, Gary always brings in some top level speakers, but this year just came out last week. Tony Robbins is going to be our keynote speaker. Yeah.
Wow.
No, that's no joke. And the other speaker is Mel Robbins.
Oh,
so like
two heavy hitters,
two heavy hitters. First of all, anything Tony's written is freaking fantastic.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, I love it.
And then Mel Robbins has some great stuff. I love her book, The 5-Second Rule. If you've not read that book, it's a great book. But I'm so pumped up for February when we go to family reunion and what I'm going to be able to share, not only with you and our listeners, Tom, but like all my clients. I'm super pumped about it. It's going to be really good, really high level stuff.
That is so great. So the key indicators, I want to step back just for a second because we got a minute before we're going to break this thing. But what Brock was talking about with the debt snowball, When I talk to people about getting better in better shape, we always want to set up a journal. So do the same thing with your financial journal. List everything out. If you're going to do if I'm going to coach you on if personal training or anything like that, I always get some people to do a food journal. You need to take 1, 2, 3 days to see what the heck you're doing. Same thing with your money. Same thing with your expenses. So if you list all these things out and you look, and I mean, we list everything out, you will find all those holes, won't you, Brock?
Oh, yeah, you sure will. That's accountability.
That's accountability. All right. Give the website one more time and the phone number, and then we're going to break this bad boy.
Yep. kwsellingteam.com. Best way to reach me, cell phone 517-303-3262.
That's Brock Fletcher. This has been the 2023 recap, Prognostication 2024. Excellent, excellent time with my friend Brock Fletcher. Reality of real estate. We started this thing. Brock has been the key. He's been the key subject matter expert the whole time we have done this. And maybe someday I'll be doing that keynote down there for the family reunion at Keller Williams. Tony Robbins is pretty dang good, and Mel, she's pretty good too. So not bad. You guys are going to have a good time down there. If our show fits your business or group's mission, we want to be of service to you. Want to thank Jamie White again for coming on. White Law is now our segment 3 sponsor, and I'm very, very thrilled to say that. That's going to help us do some more growth, and we want to do that to help you find us and find all of our experts. Always remember, before you can share love with others, you must love them first. Love yourself first. Always remember that. Thanks to Brock Fletcher, Sandy, Craig, Brock Fletcher again. We'll talk to everybody next weekend. Have a great week, everybody. Go out and ignite your life. Good day now. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much to our producer, Mitch, the legend, Anderson. Tom Maddis production of Boomers Rock Media. We want to bring your story to life. Thank you so much. Go to kwsellingteam.com and let Brock help you. We are out.
The Tom Matt Show is produced by Mitch Anderson of Black Circle Studios. Original music from The Source of Light and Power by the Ark of All.